Hello, church. For a few minutes, let's talk about the devil. I know, very uplifting message, right? Well, I promise we'll get there. The other day, I was having a conversation with Angie. I said, Angie, what other names do you know the devil as? And I was expecting, obviously, Satan and, a few others. First thing she says is Diablo. I'm like, okay, grant you that's the Spanish word for devil, but I don't think that's going to be found anywhere in the Bible. Without missing a beat, she says, I'm pretty sure it's in Danny Lira's Bible. After conceding that point, we then moved on to what are some actual names for the devil. Now, like I said, Satan's obviously the first one to come up. Some equate the term Beelzebub or Beelzebul with the devil. Some we may not think of, like Belial or Azamoras. Revelation refers to him, the great dragon or the ancient serpent. And then one that comes up a lot that we haven't said yet is Lucifer. Now, let's talk about that for just a few minutes. Would you be shocked to know that nowhere in the Bible is the devil equated with Lucifer? Now, if you have your King James Bible handy, you'll quickly turn to Isaiah chapter 14, and you'll tell me, Kyle, right here it says Lucifer, and it's talking about the devil. You would read to me, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Now, obviously, that has to be speaking about the devil, right? Well, I'm going to have to disagree. I'm going to say no. And this starts us down the path that I want to talk about for just a couple of minutes. We get that word Lucifer, which in the English Bible we only find here. It comes from Hebrew word Hillel. It's Hillel bin Shadar, something that I can't remember. But Hillel is the word from where eventually we get Lucifer. In the Hebrew, it's Hillel. The Septuagint, Heliophorus, I think is similar. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But then in the 4th century, when Jerome was writing the Hebrew Bible into Latin, he got to this part and he used Lucifer here for Hillel. Now, all it means is light bringer. Or light of dawn, light of morning. So then, if that's what it means, why do we tie it to Satan? Why do we tie that to the devil? Because what happens is modern translations, NIV and what have you, it just says son of morning or light of the morning, light of dawn, one of these, instead of the word Lucifer. Well, why is that? Okay, first of all, where is this? It's in Isaiah, who was one of the major prophets. And he, in this section, is prophesying, rather poetically, against all of the neighboring kingdoms that were being rather cruel to Israel at the time. Including, first among those, Babylon. So if we start at the beginning of chapter 14, we see, let me get over here. We see in the beginning of chapter 14, verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. All right, so we're speaking to an individual. It then goes on several verses, down through 11, saying about all the bad stuff that's going to happen to Babylon and how the mighty will fall. After this little section where we're talking about Lucifer, it goes right back to the king of Babylon again. So here's the thing about prophets. And when I taught Isaiah in the auditorium, we made this point on a weekly basis. Whenever you're looking at Old Testament prophecy, you have to know there are two messages, typically two messages. There's usually one for those of us who are reading it subsequently, right? There's usually some sort of a message in there for us, and that's what I want to talk about here. There's always going to be a message to the original reader. In this case, the original reader is reading that as a prophecy against Babylon. Well, that falls in line with verses 12 through 14 as well. So if we're not attaching Lucifer to the devil, if rather we're attaching Lucifer as just a term for, or the Latin term that Jerome used for light of the dawn, light of the morning, well, what was that light of the morning referring to? Okay, astronomy had not advanced, obviously, back then to the point we had today, but they knew something about astronomy, and they understood that morning light, what it was. They're referring to the planet Venus. I mean, still today, when you go out if you go out in the morning, just right before the sun comes up, or in the evening, and Venus will be one of the brightest objects in the sky. That's what they're referring to. So why would the king of Babylon, why would he be described as the light of the morning, or Venus in this case? Well, let's look at it again. Let me flip over to NIV real quick here. NIV. Bear with me. Here we go. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, not Lucifer, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. That obviously did not happen. That is what the king of Babylon was saying was going to happen, never did. So why include that here? Because just like Venus is the brightest light for a short time period in the sky, it is quickly diminished by the rising of the sun. And so that's the point that Isaiah is trying to get to here. He's not making a mention of the origins of Satan. He's talking about how this earthly king, in this case Babylon, this earthly king who once was great, is quickly and certainly overshadowed by God. The same is true for us. And here's the message for us today. That subsequent message I was talking about. Here's the message for us today. No matter what evil we're faced with in the world, no matter what wrong is happening, no matter how many bad things we have to see, know that they are with certainty and quickly overshadowed by the power of God. Just as the king of Babylon was thrown from heaven to earth in Isaiah, so too the evil of the world, as great as we think it may be, as powerful, as mighty as we may see it to be, and there's a lot of powerful evil in the world, all of it is thrown from a high place to a low place when measured against the power and might of God. Just as the sun rises every morning, God is in control. Everyone have a good day.